The biggest thing for me is I don't know how to get to here.
Yes.
I understand that when I start slow and I don't whip it, but I'm starting really slow and I'm using my body, I understand how I can start to lift the club here instead of here.
It wouldn't be fair to humanity if this was easy. Let's just focus on the right arm for just a second.
Yeah.
So choke up on the club, right hand only. If you flared your elbow out without moving the grip, do you feel not only what happens to the elbow, but do you feel what happens to the whole, your whole back, your whole lat? Do you feel the disconnection?
I already have like
there?
tight shoulders.
So one of the things we're going to really need to do in the greater recipe here is we've got to do a physical assessment. We've got to get you stretched out a little bit. We've got to check.
Oh yeah.
Let's assess.
I actually
where
talked to someone about maybe going
to
to TPI to understand physical limitations.
It's going to be a part of the recipe that needs to be addressed. When this flares out, now start to swing back. The right side stays totally disconnected to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so again, without any awareness of this, historically, you're so afraid of flipping it over, which I understand because you flip it over too much. But your work to sort of stay, let me keep the club in front of me. What is happening in part is that you are completely disconnecting here.
Yeah.
And then if I get you to here, you almost don't physically have a pathway to get back to the soft tucked elbow.
Right.
So even if this doesn't go exactly according to plan now, right? Is that if we could get you here and you could engage your core just a little bit, bump to the left just a little bit, right? So into the left hip so that your spine, if anything, is, right? Soften this intentionally so you almost feel tricep lat connection. And then from there, if you just turn and hinge, go ahead and turn your chest. Turn and hinge, stay right there, stop right there. Where is your elbow in that equation?
Yeah. It's right where
And
I
again,
want it to be.
we're not going to final product here. Core engage.
Yeah.
Bump to the left.
Yeah.
So that you have a little bit more room here. Soften this.
Yeah.
Feel, it's disconnected. It's softly connected. I'm going to let this hinge a little earlier. I'm going to turn this. Keep this soft and in. Turn chest. Hinge club. Stop right there. You turned and hinged. Where's the elbow?
Yeah, where we want it.
Start it back over. Feel the sense that you're leaning into disconnected. Let it stay there. Start your backswing. Can you get there?
Yeah, no.
It's not possible. So you're here. Engage your core.
Yeah.
Right? Let's just not be lazy. Hold it up in front.
Yeah.
A little bit of a bump.
Yeah.
Right? So that's out of the way. An intention in your pre-shot routine for today to feel disconnected, softly, not pin it, softly connect it.
Yeah.
And now your backswing thought is chest turn, hinge early.
Okay.
Stop right there. Feel where you are.
Yeah.
Now from there, if you were engaged and I asked you to go ahead and fire a little bit, get your body out of the way, start firing your body, go ahead and go. There's your follow through. I'm not going to say our problem, but our challenge is you are so inclined to be here, or even when you flip the club in, historically you flip it in, but then you would finish out at
Right.
So I'd like us to
It's almost
feel
like my right shoulder's always engaged.
it's always in. Feel the no, soften the yes, chest early hinge, let it go. Is that a different pattern for you?
Yeah. I can already feel more space.
Okay.
You know?
And again, this isn't perfection, right? This is
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
There you go. Do that one more time, just for the no. Do you feel how this right shoulder is up? There you go.
Yeah.
You feel that right there?
Yeah.
So now that you're there, as you turn your chest, let it hinge. Beautiful. That's it. Engage, set up, bumped, no, yes. And then once you feel the yes, turn hinge. Attaboy. Feel?
Yeah.
So we're trying to create a pathway where that easier swing is possible, and you've got to be diligent in your steps every time. So when we bump left just a little bit, so if you bump left, I'm just saying from a screen standpoint, when you've got a little bit of a left bump and this hip is a little bit out of the way, go ahead and turn to the top and stop, then this hip can get more out of the way. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now start back over. I want you to intentionally bump right this time and stay there, and then do your backswing from there.
With the strong arm? Or regular?
But just do you feel how you bumped into your right hip? Now go ahead and turn. Do you feel how everything slid more right there?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I also think I sometimes reverse tilt and I'm in my left leg. Which maybe I did that because I'm starting in my right.
Yes.
And that was the only place I could go.
So let me jump in there. I don't know if this is going to work on the camera. You can stand back before, but just so if I'm just sitting here, for example, and again, we're looking at sliding versus coiling or loading at this point. So if I'm here and I'm butt back and I just bump into my left hip a little bit, do you see how my right hip kind of indents a little bit?
Yeah.
So if I'm here at start and I turn, I can turn and load into my right and my right hip can go that way. If I am here and I'm kind of sitting into my right butt cheek and I'm kind of sitting into this to start, and I turn, I get here. And I reverse tilt and my hip gets out and I slide. When you sink into your right hip at start, you are already going to encourage slide. By the way, when I slide, what happens to my right elbow? Almost, this is your pattern. Reverse tilt, tilt out, try to save it underneath, pop back up, flip.
I'm going to my left foot because I'm already into my right.
You're sliding, you're counterbalancing left, or you'd flail. But if you could get yourself, when you're thinking, to go, let me sit in my left hip a little bit, and then you go, I'm in my left hip a little bit. Now that I'm in my left hip, I can coil into my right and I can fire back to my left because I could.
Right.
I don't care at this point how good of a job you do of it, Evan.
Right.
I care that you could do it.
Right.
And if you can't do it, we're going to keep beating ourselves into the wall because, right? That's just definition of crazy or whatever, right?
Yeah. That was easier. That was easier.
You feel it?
Yeah. You know, I don't know if this makes sense, but it just feels like there's more of the club face available to me. It doesn't feel like it's a split-second save. It feels more like it's square coming through more.
Let this kind of stay out a little bit. Go ahead and start to turn. What happened to where's your balance, where's your load in your right foot there?
It's like off to the edges.
Way out off the chart. All your balance is out. There's no.
I have no load in my leg.
There's no load. Crisscross again. Engage your core.
So when I told you I don't know how to load, that's
because you
why.
Can't load.
Yeah.
I like the left bump there better.
Okay.
See, do you feel that?
Yeah.
I know that is so important for you.
Yeah.
If you're if you're not paying attention to that, Evan, and you go to auto default, bump into the right hip at setup, you're going to make the entire pattern really, really difficult to do.
Right.
This is low-hanging fruit if you have focus.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yep. All right. So no. Yes.
Little bump.
Bump.
And then just 3/4.
Oh.
Hopefully that one doesn't make the cut. You got a good editor, right? Feel?
Yeah.
You sense it?
Yeah.
We're order of operationings here. You have to bump it, you've got to soften it, and you've got to be able to feel like that this little, and I want you to feel, what is the right shoulder? What does the right bicep and elbow feel like when we just do that activity?
Yeah.
Isn't it like a glide?
Yeah.
If I was shooting a basketball and you passed to me and I got ready to do the catch and shoot jump shot, Evan, where am I going? I'm going right here.
Yeah.
Soft right, soft elbow. Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm not saying manipulate it, but if it's a little bit sloppier or lazier, or fine.
Yeah.
Because we're on the other side of the road now. Do a little practice swing just above the ball. It's just softer. You gotta be softer in the right.
Okay.
Keep that right shoulder soft. Practice swing's fine. Practice swing. Do a little waggle and just as you turn, real soft right shoulder. Yeah, you gotta just give up. No, I'm laughing. Note to self, cue tape. Dude, you did nothing.
That was like a real ball strike.
But you just didn't overdo it.
I know.
When you were doing the old thing, you had to rely on your hands and your upper body to save you. Therefore, it's fair that your upper body wants to do more.
Yeah.
If we're now looking at this and I'm defending this, when you're softer and when you're loaded and you're here, we actually need the thing that used to think it needed to save you to not play a role anymore.
Right.
That's where I was talking to you before we started this today, which is there's 2 changes that need to happen. If we do this whole thing and get you set up before you go, analogy of at home, What's your homework at home? Your homework is to try to start to feel like you bump into your left hip so that becomes an auto default posture versus this an auto default posture.
Yeah.
That's the best practice you can do. How do I practice? Practice at home and make sure you don't sit in your right ass cheek all day long. Because this is going to completely challenge what we're trying to do.
Right.
You want to make a difference? Don't let yourself, this is it. Put a note card in your phone, reminder, into your left hip, into your left hip, into your left hip, until it becomes a habit, right?
Yeah.
That would be the most valuable practice you could do in the greatest of ironies, right?
Yeah. It's going to take me some time, I think.
Yeah.
To be able to trust it.
My ask is that you do the diligence from pre-step stuff. You've got to start before you hit the ball and remind of the core, remind of the bump, remind this, right? Don't get rapid fiery and lose focus. I'd rather see you hit less shots with greater focus and clarity on what you're doing than just start going and trying to fix it, quote unquote.
Right.
Ain't gonna help you.